So by the end of this video, you're going to know why Tom Sandoval chose to do Howie Mandel besides the obvious, which you may or may not have heard. You're going to hear my take on who's pissed really and who isn't, and what I think is going to happen. And you're going to have a bunch of receipts to show the business side of this, which I think is going to interest you. I definitely tried to cover this from a different perspective than everybody else covering it, because there's a lot of people covering it right now. All right, enjoy. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. Hi, you guys. Oh my God, I just finished my interview with Mark Ebner. It was like giving birth. There was so much. It was like, oh my goodness. You will not be disappointed. It will definitely be a two-parter, and there may even be another one we do next month because, wow, he is something. Anyway, ooh, it sounds like there's a lawsuit in Bravo land. Ooh, what's this one about? I get little dings when bad things happen in Bravo Celebrity World and in Celebrity World. Anyway, I wanted you guys to hear two things. I was kind of looking for a unique way to cover the Howie Mandel interview, which obviously by now you've probably heard. So I thought it'd be fun to cover it from the perspective of Tom Sandoval fighting now with Andy Cohen. So Andy is very upset. Lisa Vanderpump is upset. I'm sure Alex Baskin... it's very busy. Alex Baskin is upset from Evolution, who produces the show. Just knowing these people, I can tell you they are not happy. And they're trying to be political about it, but Andy's pissed. And, you know, it takes a lot. Like, how you know Andy's pissed is Andy doesn't get angry, but when he's bitchy and he actually vocalizes his bitchiness, it means, like, take that and turn up the dial by, like, a whole 6 volume points, and that's what's really happening inside of Andy. So he's like reserved and he's cautious because he has to interact with these people in lots of different ways. And once Andy's pissed, if he needs you, he'll forgive you. If he doesn't, he won't. That's just the way he is, I think, anyway. Seems to hold a grudge. So here's the fun thing we're going to do today. We're going to figure out why Sandoval decided to do this interview with Howie Mandel. Now, we know there's several personal relationships Tom Sandoval has related to Howie Mandel's podcast, which would explain why he felt trusting enough to do it with them. But why piss off Bravo, Lisa Vanderpump, and Evolution? I don't get it. That's what we need to get to the bottom of. That's what I want to focus on. So let's first start by listening to the interview again, where Andy is talking to his co-host about, on Sirius Radio Andy, about, you know, him being upset that Sandoval gave this interview, and then he drags Howie Mandel as a terrible interview. And by the way, the fans agreed because they felt it was really weird that Howie Mandel hadn't prepared better for this interview, given how popular this topic has been in national news, right? So let me play this for you.
I should mention this Sandoval interview with Howie Mandel of all people.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Why was he allowed to do that? Doesn't Bravo have him on like a PR interview, like waiting for the reunion embargo?
You know, one would think.
One would think, because like this is all stuff I want to hear at the reunion, you know?
You're going to in a different forum. And I will predicate this by saying I did a great interview with Tom at the reunion. And I'm still looking forward to you all seeing that. And hearing his perspective up against Raquel and Ariana is fascinating stuff. So there's still more to come. This Howie Mandel thing, I don't know. I found out about it last week, was annoyed on my behalf, on Bravo's behalf, on the viewers' behalf. I'm surprised he gave an interview to someone who doesn't seem to be familiar with the show or watch the show.
Okay, that's interesting. Why would Andy Cohen not kibosh the interview if he knew about it last week? If there was any time to kibosh it, why wouldn't he? Now, I want to call out that Tom Sandoval in the interview with Howie Mandel, and I will play a little bit of it. I know you guys have heard it, but I need to comment on a few things. In that interview, he says, I don't have a contract yet for next year, but based on the ratings, essentially, I'm assuming I will. And he's also saying that he didn't want Ariana to quit the show. And he said it under the guise of like, everybody has shown their problems for years and you haven't, and this is your turn to do it. And then that made him call the show producers and ask them to go back in production. Sounds more like it to me that Tom wanted to bank off all this attention and so called the producers to cover his ugly cheating scandal to help the show and to help himself. I know you're going to be like, what do you mean help yourself? He looks like a total a-hole. He's never been more famous. But Andy was really excited because this was going to break ratings for Bravo. They were going to have advertisers up the yin-yang for the reunion. Now he's spilled all his tea. Raquel has spilled some of hers. And the advertisers are going to be like using this to pay less money to be on the Vanderpump reunion. So this is not, from a business standpoint, great for them because the advertisers would have been really over a barrel to pay whatever was demanded to be a part of that. But now they can say, well, they did this interview, they did that thing over there, and, you know, for us, it's not as valuable as it was before. Now, Tom Sandoval, I know he wanted to help his bandmate out, but why?
On my behalf, on Bravo's behalf, on the viewers' behalf, I'm surprised he gave an interview to someone who doesn't seem to be familiar with the show or watch the show on any level.
No.
I mean, from the clips that I saw, do you think Howie watched a frame of the show?
No, as was just pointed out on the Smith Sisters Live, he said, who's Sheena?
Right.
As he was reading notes.
And he's like, I don't understand why this is a big deal. But, you know, maybe that's what Tom felt he needed from an interview so that he could just be completely unchallenged. I mean, from the clips I saw, neither Tom nor Howie did themselves any favors. And, you know, just memo to Howie, Peacock has a list of the episodes that you need to see to catch up on this thing. Just watch those if you don't have time. Seems like a missed opportunity for both of them. I will kind of leave it at that. And I am excited still for y'all to see the reunion. But what a head scratcher.
You know, a little something else with that.
But I mean, missed opportunity is the big headline to me because
I think he probably did it because he thought he...
It would be like me doing the exit interview with Tom Brady when he retires. Who wants to hear that? What do I know? You know what I mean?
Well, I think he might actually do a good job with that.
Well, no, I mean, okay, me doing a Deal or No Deal reunion. You know what? If I was doing a Deal or No Deal reunion, you know what I would do?
You'd watch Deal or No Deal.
I would watch
Exactly.
Deal or No Deal to find out.
Talk to the girls. That's
it's
scandalous. A
about.
lot of scandals around Deal or No Deal. My friend was on the show.
That, I feel like people are being too... Well, yeah, but people are being too mean to you and everything. It's like, actually, this is somebody who really...
Well, I mean, also... Well, hold on. I mean, I think... Listen, there's also a way to comment on the outrage.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's wild. It was wild.
I think he went on because he thought it would be... He didn't know a whole lot,
I think he went on because he thought it was a friendly environment. Tom's drummer's wife is the producer of the podcast. So, there you go. There you go.
This came out in The Sun today to reflect what I said earlier in the video. The source claims the producers are, quote, so effing upset because everyone on the show has become family since filming started, and him doing this is a big FU to all of them. At this time, it's unclear what kind of repercussions Tom will face for taking this interview, but the insider claims no one on the cast would be shocked or upset if he was fired. A Bravo spokesperson said Sandoval did give the network a heads up that he was going on Howie's podcast. Okay, so to help you figure out the why, I want to tell you a quick tidbit of gossip about Miss Jen Shah on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. So if you remember, she went a little renegade rogue at the end too. Well, we found out that the reason she did that and she turned on production and Bravo was because she didn't feel they were supporting her in this really difficult situation after she shared so much of her drama with them and like humiliated herself on national television in the most horrific way. And then when she looked for a little support from them, they weren't there. So it's possible that Tom Sandoval and Raquel, when they reached out to production and had them start rolling again, didn't feel the support that they needed. Or maybe it was financial. I don't know. I can only speculate. But something pissed them off, is my gut. Something that happened between them and production, or I don't know. But this, every time a Bravo celebrity gets burned, this is what they do to retaliate. So I'm just saying, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, but it's fun to still play Inspector Gadget. Let's face it, what's Lisa Vanderpump going to say about that, right? She got pissed off at Bravo because of the way they were depicting her on her last season. She didn't show up to the reunion. She basically let herself get fired, but quit first. So how is she going to yell at Tom Sandoval about him pulling this? I mean, talk about the kettle calling the pot black, or the pot calling the kettle black. Sorry, I had a Teresa Giudice moment. So you know what I'm saying? Right, so now let me play you the part where Tom Sandoval talks about his relationship with Vanderpump Rules from the Howie Mandel interview. Because we already know that he's a douche. And, I know you guys know my opinion of him, which is, I understand everything that he said about how it all happened with him and Raquel, given the climate that was going on with Ariana, but it doesn't excuse the fact that he didn't fully end the relationship with Ariana before starting the relationship or continuing the relationship if there was a slip up with Raquel, aka Rachel. And what he did in a really awful way is he's now set up this current relationship that he has to follow through with it. Because if he doesn't, he is going to, everyone's going to be like, ha, 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 we told you so. And I don't think he can handle that after this. But let me just remind you of the text message before I play this for you that he sent Peter Madrigal, manager of SUR. Remember that? I recreated it with a dramatization disclaimer because it wasn't the original. Okay, let me just read you again the text that Peter received from Tom Sandoval. Dude, just watched the first episode, laugh out loud. Did you bang Raquel the night after SUR? Ha ha, crying. Does that sound like a respectful way to talk about someone that you have had a lot of romantic interaction with? And even if you're trying to pretend that you're not close with the person, pretty disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? All he had to say was a nice way, hey, did you hook up with her? I mean, look at the language, bang. That's when I'm talking gangster shit, I say that, okay, on the show. Okay. But the point is, you don't talk about someone that you're smitten by or really pursuing with any class like this. He's disrespecting Raquel at the same time as Ariana out of the gate. And Raquel's too blind to recognize that he's talking about her derogatory to everyone, although he's supposedly so into her. It's a joke. And then he tries to take her home to his family in December. It's like, and he expects his parents to be like, oh, this is great. When they know he hasn't ended things properly with Ariana. And like, even if he's introducing Raquel as a friend he's really excited about, it's really messed up. And the parents didn't respect him. That's why they didn't see Raquel. Not that they don't want to support their kid. Everybody wants to support their kid as a parent. That's normal. But what I suspect is they didn't respect him and his choices. Because after all, you don't want to help your kids do heroin. Now, to be fair, Howie drags Andy. And a lot of people missed this, which is why Andy retaliated. Because I know him. I know him. Listen to this.
Needs than the other person, and there's no satisfaction. What I'm asking, though, is knowing that you each know it internally, did you ever sit down and say, this isn't working? Because I watched Schwartz last, on the Andy Cohen show.
What Happens Live.
Yeah. And he said that
he doesn't know the name of Andy's show.
That you were trying a few times to like end it. Yeah.
That would piss Andy off, just saying. Yeah. That he doesn't even know Watch What Happens Live. He doesn't even know Andy's show. He calls it the Andy Cohen show. I'm telling you, I know that upset him. Not only did Howie Mandel poach his trending interview, Howie Mandel's show is trending for the first time ever, and probably ever again. Okay, it's number 4 on YouTube, one day after they released it. They're making bank on this video. But the thing is, this is the thing, okay? Andy Cohen, that was his trending moment that Howie just stole from him. I mean, Andy knew that like it'd be the most watched show, like the Super Bowl, his reunion. And Howie just took that from him because now, yeah, people will watch because they're curious, but they're not going to watch with the same vigor necessarily as they were before or yet to be seen. But Andy's like, how dare you? And remember, this has happened to him a few times now. He had it happen with Robin Dixon and The Affair. He's losing control of like his, news breaks. And there aren't that many in Bravo. I mean, we have lots of little BS-y ones that get people's attention and get us talking. But big ones like, Erica Girardi and Tom Girardi and Jen Shaw going to prison and Robin Dixon admitting that her husband has been cheating on her forever and da-da-da-da-da. Like, he wants those for himself. I've been saying this for a long time. Read page 6. You'll see. Before I was mad at page 6, I gave them a quote. Responding to Andy Cohen, pissed because of Housewife and the Hustler. And I said, what did I say? I said, you're pissed because ABC beat you to it. Here's the clip I wanted you to hear. And it doesn't have to do with Tom Sandoval being an a-hole or the details around meeting Raquel. So you might have missed this clip, right? It's less popular. But there's a reason I'm playing it for you.
Lives. And so when I said hypothetically, if we broke up, she basically was like, well, definitely not going to the reunion. I'm quitting the show. Fuck the sandwich shop that she's supposed to open up with Katie. And we're selling the house. And I'm deleting all social media and I'm moving away.
Okay. And did she?
Listen to how business-minded he is about his relationship with Ariana. Listen.
She would have considered you guys still in a relationship, and maybe a relationship that could have been mended, right? Because she was going in a different direction than you.
I had already broken up with her 2 weeks earlier, and I told her, I said, listen, we don't have to post anything on social media. Like, let's talk through this. Like, I understand. Like, we were on hold for, like, a big job, too. Like, and to, like for, mixology, like, together. And so it's like, we can like keep this like between us, like we always have kept stuff between us, and figure out a way to navigate this that like helps us both out, makes it easier. And so I was like, we'll talk, you know, obviously she was very upset. I mean, she freaking punched me and all this shit, and then you know, but after she calmed down, we started talking, and then a couple days.
You mentioned that Ariana and him had this really lucrative thing that was coming down the pipe when they broke up. And he was trying to keep up appearances, allegedly, with Ariana so they could keep this gig going. But she wasn't really getting what was going on. Like, he was basically saying to her, it comes off like this, I want to break up with you. I'm not happy. But let's just keep trying to push through for now while we get through these like business things that we have to do. And Ariana's thinking she can fix it, but he has no intention of fixing it because he's already with someone else, and she doesn't know that. So she knows he cheated, but she doesn't know that he's like in a full-blown relationship with Raquel. So anyway, Ariana's going on Dancing with the Stars and, you know, doing the renewal kind of thing. I think she would have been better for Bachelorette. I don't know why. ABC should have snapped her right up. Tom Sandoval probably shopping a show about his band, and will him and Raquel make it? All of this ends up being lucrative to them in the end. So, you know, don't get too upset, because I do believe Ariana's devastated. I don't think that's, I 100% know the type of person she is. I know she would have died for this relationship because she was doing all these business things with him. That's what she enjoyed about it. I don't think she even enjoyed necessarily doing the business things. It was about them doing it sort of together. And he can pitch me his BS that she was distant from him and all this stuff. I'm not buying what he's selling. He created this whole thing. He pushed her away. She didn't push him away. He pushed her away. Just like he didn't have some magical, mystical moment with Raquel. He decided he liked Raquel and made the move. Like, he is the master puppeteer. And everybody is his pawn. And I'm sorry, that's the way I see it. And the reason he can articulate it so well in this Howie Mandel interview is because he's that strategic, that he actually has done so much strategizing and exploration in the process of taking all these people out and getting them to do what he wants them to do, that he can tell it like a narrative in a book. Believe me, if he wasn't actually the master puppeteer, he couldn't tell you the story so clearly in this 1 hour and 19-minute concise interview. Believe me, I interview a lot of people. He had played this over in his mind, why he was doing what he was doing, how he was going to justify later, how he was going to handle it with Bravo, Evolution, Andy Cohen, how he was going to leverage it this way, he's going to get her, fix it with the people, get destroyed, come back in the mix, distance himself from the restaurant. Master puppeteer, truly. So that's it. And unfortunately, there's no way you could punish him because this guy will use it to his advantage no matter what you guys do. I know, it's depressing. I'm going to go make a margarita. I'm going to have a margarita with you before I go. Well, he shaved off his mustache at the end of the Howie Mandel interview. I guess to change his whole look, because maybe if you get rid of the way you look, it'll change who you are on the inside. But I'm not sure that's the case, unfortunately. Well, there's always the hope of therapy. I guess that's what he's doing now. Watch out, Raquel. Watch out. So what do you think about Tom Sandoval's business side in this that's come out in this interview? And do you agree with me about why Howie Mandel interview happened beyond that he's close with the producer of the show? Let me know. I'm going to read your comments.